everyone, this is Anna from Koala Soap, and today I'm going to revisit a video that I did back in 2018. So if I figure it out, I'll put a video up in one of these corners, or I'll just put it in the description below so that after you watch this video you can see what I did in that other video. So what we're going to do is I have some crystal clear melt and pour here, and I have shea butter melt and pour here. I have a small amount, about 2 ounces each, if that. We'll be using Stardust Micas. This is Blue Ice, one of my favorite colors. Some Bio Glitter, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these melted. And we're actually going to use this fondant mold, which is very delicate. So I'm going to show you the technique I used back in 2018 and still use today to get very delicate embeds into my soap. So let's get these melted and we'll get started. These are now both melted down. I'm not going to put any scent into them because this is going to be a very small embed, and it's not going to do anything with the soap. I'll show you where I will put the fragrance in next. But just for fun, let's go ahead. These are at about 162, so they're pretty hot, and 153. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our alcohol into our bath bombs. The alcohol will evaporate off, as you guys know. I'm going to be keeping the white, and I'm going to be using the Stardust Micas in this clear one here, just because it's such a beautiful blue. Now this is an experiment because I'm not sure the way I'm going to do this soap if this is going to show up as well as I'm hoping it will, but we'll see. So we'll go ahead and we're going to add that into here. I'm not worried about the temperature of adding the mica, just because it's not like it's going to burn off the color or anything. Okay. And we'll get a really nice blue going on in there. And then we're going to add just a little bit of Bio Glitter. Now, you do not want to reach in here with your fingers. You want to keep all of the oils on your hands off this glitter. So always use a little spoon. These I get from our local yogurt shop. They're just little taster spoons, and they always give me a couple extras. And we're going to mix that in. Now, when I pour these, it doesn't matter what temperature I pour it. As a matter of fact, I want it hotter when I pour it because that way it'll go into these little grooves easier. So I'm going to move this scale out of the way. We're going to start with the blue over here. We're going to take our little red spatula, just like we did in that one video that I was telling you about. It should be flexible. If you have one that's flexible, great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do these two. I always do two just in case I mess up one. So here's the first one. Just pour it in there, pour it in here, and then just squeegee it all around. Make sure it gets into all of those little cracks and crevices, and then just push it off to the side. Now ideally you would put this into one of our cavity molds, 6 cavity molds. Now if I can, I don't know if it's on screen. I guess I'll just do these two. Because this side, I'm going to have to use the opposite side here. Same thing. So we're going to pour it here, and we're going to pour it here. And then we're just going to squeegee it off. We just kind of want to make sure we get it all into those nooks and crannies. I'm not sure I did here, so let's just make sure. The problem is if you let it cool down too much, like right here, you're going to see a skin, and that's fine. Just try to get it off of there. There's 2 ways of doing this, and in the video that I did in 2018, you'll see the second way. I'm actually planning another video to show you that other way of how I did it. We're going to let these sit, and then once this dries, we're just going to add it into here, and then we're going to put it with our scraps. So this one will probably be, one of these will be used for later. Anyway, let's just let it dry and we'll go ahead and unmold it. We are back. So for us to try to do this, we actually need a silicone mat, and a thicker one is what I use. I'm not sure if the little thin, colorful ones will work. I've always done it this way. I have the thinner ones. I guess I can try that maybe next time. And I use my blade for my soap cutter, and what I like to do is I'll just run it through here, make sure that there's no soap on here that can affect what we're about to do next. So once these are set, we are going to put them upside down. This silicone mat will actually grab the soap. It usually works. Sometimes it doesn't, and that's why I do more than one, like I did two here, just in case. Also, I've never put glitter in one before, so I don't know if that's going to affect how this works. So what we're going to do is we kind of hold it down, and we're going to pull up, and it kind of grabs it, but it's very, very fragile, so you have to kind of make sure you push down while you're pulling up on the mat. Okay, we got our first one down. So this is where I take this again and gently kind of scoop it up. And there is our first delicate embed. I don't know if you can see it very well. Set that aside. And now we're going to do, it's usually very easy to do the ends just because you have more control. For me, it's always been harder to do the ones in the middle. So let's see how this one comes out. So I already have my one that I wanted. So if this one doesn't work out, I'm actually okay. Now sometimes what will happen is when you're pulling these out, it might tear a little bit right here. That's okay. When you set it in the soap, you can kind of set it the way it's supposed to be, and the soap will act like glue, and you'll see what I mean. Oh, and we got the second one out. Yay! Oh, very, very careful. So this one, oh, I just lost it. There we go. This one you can see there's a little, I mean you can't tell, there's a little tear, oh, there you are, right here. But that's okay. When I put it into the mold, you're not going to notice it. Okay, so let's do these white ones and see how they came out. I have three of these. I actually went back and put one on the end. I thought, well, I have the soap, so I might as well just do it just in case. So, always push down. Very gently. Okay. Got another one here. So we'll put that off to the side. So if I don't get these next two, I'm worried about this one here because there's a lot of skin and stuff on it. So I'm probably not even going to waste my time on that one, but we'll see. If it gives me a hard time, I'm just going to say, okay, fine. Push this there. So it's good to have a fondant mat that has several of these, so if you mess one up, you have a backup. Yep, this one is not going as planned. Okay, this one looks okay. This one looks okay here. However, when I pick it up, you're going to see it did tear. Maybe you can see it right there, but it is salvageable. if I can get it up here. I don't know. So you can see where it tears, but when I put it into the mold, I'm just going to set it to how it should be. Now this last one I don't have much. I don't think it's going to work, but we can try. Okay, so what happened here is there was a lot of extra soap, as you could see. I didn't squeegee enough of it off. There was a lot of extra, which is fine because you can just peel this off and put it in here. But it's kind of a mess. Now I could clean it up, but I'm not going to bother because I already have two that I like. So here is the ones that we're going to be using. Taking two of these soaps. We're going to be using the same mold that we did in the last video. So I'm only going to take two of these embeds and we're going to use that. I'll wash this off. I'm going to take, this is 2 ounces of crystal clear melt and pour. I'm going to microwave this at 10-second intervals. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to mess with the clarity. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to make our 2 soaps. We're going to start. Okay, so we are back. I have melted this down. It started out at 140, which was way too hot to pour. It is now, I believe it's 127, and I want to get it as low in the 120s to even if I can get it into the teens, like 118 and 119, because these are so delicate, they will melt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these over here. You can still see good. Okay, so I'm just going to pour a little bit here. Just a little, just enough to cover the bottom of this mold. Perfect. And now we're going to squirt it with alcohol to get rid of any bubbles. Just to make sure. All right. So what we'll do is we're gently going to put that down there, both of them, and make sure it sticks down there. I just don't want them to float up. Let's stir this and see where it's at, because it's starting to develop its skin. You have to do this part really fast. So 118, so we should be okay. So we'll squirt this with alcohol. And then we're just going to pour a real thin layer. Make sure it's a thin layer. Don't do it halfway up. Just it's enough to cover this embed. Perfect. We have a little bit left, but it's probably ½ an ounce. We're going to let that sit. Next, we're going to take these that we had left over, which was shea butter melt and pour, and another crystal clear melt and pour with this blue in it, and glitter. I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to this too. We're going to go ahead and melt it down, and then we're going to put it on top of these soaps. We're going to exchange them though. We'll be back. Okay, so I've melted down the remnants that we had left of the shea butter melt and pour soap base and the blue with the glitter. The only thing that's not in here that I wanted to add was glitter, so we're going to add glitter, and then we're going to add our scent. These soaps are approximately 4 ounces once they're done. So what I do is I give 5 mLs per pound, so I'm going to do 125 of our 1.25 milliliters into each of these bases here for our scent. We're going to be using brambleberries. I believe it's yuzu cybella, and we are going to add that in. There's no vanilla in there, so it shouldn't turn brown. And we're going to mix that in. Now we have to pour this very, very, very cool. So let's see where we're at here. I'm trying to rush through this because I don't want them to set up on me, so I have to rewarm them. Now I'm going to take a skewer that has a pointy end, and I'm going to just lightly scratch right where the embed is so that you can't really see the hatch marks. So for the blue embed, I'm going to slowly pour the white. I'm going to fill it all the way up. Hopefully I have enough to fill it all the way up. I got a little bit of blue in there, I can see it, but that's fine. And for the blue, I'm going to put it behind the white embed. And we're going to fill it all the way up. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to squirt it with alcohol, and we're going to wait for them to set. Okay, we have the moment of truth here. We'll go ahead and do this one first. Nice. I don't know that I can really tell that there's glitter in it though. I'm not sure. I'm going to take it out into the sun, take some pictures of it. This one I can definitely tell there's glitter in it. It's very nice, very delicate. This is why you don't want to pour it too much with the clear, because if you do, first of all, you don't want to mess with this as much as possible. Make sure your clear is very low temperature when you pour. These are so delicate, they will melt very quickly in your melt and pour. It's very important that I don't know if you can see that there's just not a huge layer at all. And that way the background, which has your scent in it, because you can't put scent in the clear part of the melt and pour. I didn't bother with the embed because there's just not a lot of soap there. But your scent, they smell really good, and you can really see how delicate and beautiful they are. So I'm going to take some pictures of these outside so that you can see how they look, because the lighting in here just isn't that great. But I love how these turned out, and I want to thank you for tuning in. And please hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and I will see you a little bit later this week.